Hey everyone, and welcome to Thursdays at the Museum. I'm Amanda Harrison with the Detroit Institute of Arts, and we are so excited to be mixing up today's concert with a discussion and a performance with our guest, Alvin Waddles. Alvin Waddles is a pianist, singer, composer, and director. He studied at the Interlochen Arts Academy and the University of Michigan School of Music. Mr. Waddles has worked in the Detroit and Ann Arbor public schools and currently serves as the musical consultant/musical director for the Mount Vernon Public Schools Performing Arts Department in New York. During today's program, I'd like to encourage you to please ask questions. You can do that by signing into your Gmail account through our YouTube page, which we're on right now, and leave a public comment. Alvin Waddles plays tribute to jazz pianist Thomas Fats Waller. He did this in our beautiful Crystal Gallery last week, and he's joining us today with our music curator, Rudy Lauerman, to share some of those songs with us. Hey guys, thanks for joining us.
Hey, Amanda.
Hey.
So Alvin, you and this 1920s performer seem to have like a lot in common. And I read that you both started playing piano at a really early age. Waller started at the age of 6 and you were 8 years old. And Waller also played organ in his father's church. And I know that you served as a music minister for several Baptist churches and were even on this program last December to talk about gospel music with us. What is it about Fats Waller's music that really reached you?
Probably more than anything else, I think it was just the humor of it. You have to take into account that Fats Waller was born in 1904. This is less than 40 years, slightly, from the end of slavery. So he still existed in a time that, despite all of his fame and notoriety, where he actually probably couldn't even have walked in the front door of most of the venues he played in. And yet he infused, like so many entertainers of the time, his music with meaning. There was a lot of subtext to a lot of the things he wrote, but with humor. He was an entertainer, and he appreciated the value of that. He also cut his chops, not only playing in his father's church, but also at the age of 15, he became an organist at local theaters in Harlem. Which I had the the privilege of doing a couple times down at the museum, and it's a lot of fun playing for silent movies. And I think that helped to hone his improvisatory chops. He didn't get pre-screenings like we did. He just had to sit down and play what he saw. All of those things, just as an artist, he just fascinates me. Apart from the fact that he was just a tremendously gifted pianist.
Well, let's hear one of his songs performed by you. What song would you like to introduce the program with?
Well, we're going to start with the song that he played it quite frequently, though he actually didn't write it. This was written by Spencer Williams and Jack Palmer, I believe, but it's a little tune called "Everybody Loves My Baby."
Everybody loves my baby, but my baby don't love nobody but me. Nobody but me. Everybody loves my baby, but my baby don't love nobody but me. That's plain to see. She's got a form like Venus on the palace walls of Greece. Can no one come between us? She's my Sheba, I'm her chic. Everybody loves my baby, but my baby don't love nobody but me. Nobody but me, yes sir. Everybody loves my baby, but my baby don't love nobody but me. Nobody but me. Well, everybody loves my baby, but my baby don't love nobody but me. That's plain to see. Now when my baby kisses me upon my rosy cheeks, I just let those kisses stay. I don't wash my face for weeks. Everybody loves my baby, but my baby don't love nobody but me. 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 Nobody but me.
That was such a fun one. Great one to start us off with. Thank you. Rudy, you invited Alvin to perform this tribute of Fats Waller for our audience today. What makes you feel connected to his music? And will you introduce the next song for us?
Sure. I was a young pianist back in the early 70s. I was more trained in classical music and raised on rock and roll, but got very interested in jazz. I was trying to fill in the gaps. So I discovered the early pianists like Fats Waller and James P. Johnson, Art Tatum, people like that. And in the late 70s, I heard Fats Waller's organ playing on David Lynch's Eraserhead, which was very, very odd. and I hadn't known Fats Waller as an organ player at all. So that was my introduction to Fats Waller in some kind of way. But then over the years, I've worked with Alvin and Marion and Jalo, and we worked on some soundtracks for silent films and Too Hot to Handle, things like that. And I heard about Alvin's Fats Waller tribute, and I thought it would be perfect for the Friday Night Live series. And we brought him in to do that. This was probably 5 years ago or so, and it was a huge hit. And I thought it'd be a good idea to share this for the Thursdays at the Museum program. What we're going to go to next is All That Meat and No Potatoes, which is a song from the early 40s. It's based on, or at least the lyric is based on, sexual innuendo from that period. I won't go into it, but you can look that up. There are a couple of great versions of it, including, of course, Fats's version, but then there's a great Louis Armstrong version. And we're now going to hear Alvin's and Marion's and Jallo's version, and I would recommend that you compare the two after listening.
All that meat and no potatoes just ain't right. It's like green tomatoes. Yeah, I'm steaming. You got me fiending, 'cause all that meat and no potatoes. Say all that meat, but something's rotten. All that meat and nothing all gratin. No. I'm waiting, palpitating, 'cause all that meat and no potatoes. Now, I don't think that peas are bad. No. You know, with meat, almost anything goes. Almost. But I lift up that lid, and I'm fit to fight. 'Cause, mama, you know that mess ain't right. You got all that meat and no potatoes. All that food for the alligators. Yeah, I'm standing, glad-handed, 'cause all that meat and no potatoes. Now, I don't think that peas are bad, no. 'Cause you know with meat almost anything goes. But I lift up the lid and I'm fit to fight. 'Cause mama, you know that mess ain't right. You got all that meat and no potatoes. Big old pork butt and then some cherry tomatoes. Here I'm waiting, palpitating, 'cause all that meat and no potatoes.
Such great rhythm in that song. Thanks for sharing that. When I'm listening to this music, sometimes I feel like I hear more than one person playing piano at a time. And I think that that's part of what stride piano is. And Waller's really known as the king of stride. But for people who maybe don't have all their jazz chops, will you describe to us what is stride piano?
Actually, that is more than one person. I just increased my girth so I can hide a small person behind me on the bench.
I understand. It's not.
Yeah. It's a wide angle lens there. But stride piano is it's a fashionable piano where basically the melody is played in the right hand, and the left hand literally strides from one end of the piano to the other, playing single notes or octaves on the strong beats. So in a 4, that would be on the 1 and the 4, and while playing chords, alternating with chords on the weaker beats, the 2 and the 4. It is a derivative of the style of music that was probably the most popular prior to the turn of the century, which was ragtime, which includes a similar type of bass accompaniment. But it's generally noted, or at least it becomes absolutely fascinating when you have up-tune, faster tune pieces, and the ability to accurately jump back and forth becomes almost treacherous in some of the tempos that Fats Waller used to take. But the style itself, you could hear it in even something like All That Meat, No Potatoes. It's the same chop, chop, that type of style. Am I supposed to introduce this next tune now?
Yeah. Will you? Which song did you play that you think demonstrates that style of that you just described to us the best?
Well, again, this next tune, which is another novelty tune, a very popular novelty song of Fats Waller. It was one of the first, in the early instance, if you go on YouTube, which you can find everything. But there's actually a video that he has of it, early music video, of someone walking around in rather large shoes. And it was a tune called Your Feet's Too Big. And you'll notice the very strong bass accents alternating with chords, even at this tempo, which undergird this love song, I like to think of it as. But you be the judge.
All right. Well, let's give it a listen.
Who's that stomping around up in here? I told him we was at the museum. You gotta be quiet. And here she comes, sounding like the Colossus of Rhodes. Oh, I'm not kidding, honey. You know I love you. I can remember the first time we met. Can you? Up in Harlem, at a table for two. Yes. You know there were four of us. Me, your big feet, and you. From the ankles up, honey, you sure are sweet. But down below, girl, there's just too much feet. Yes, your feet's too big. Don't want you, cause your feet's too big. Can't stand you, cause your feet's too big. I really hate you, cause your feet's too big. Now listen here, honey. Where'd you get 'em? Yeah, forget it. Now look, son, your girl, she likes you. She does. She thinks you're nice. That's what she told me last night anyway. She says you've got everything you need to be in paradise. Yes. Loves your face. Really digs your rig. But God almighty, son, them feet, they too big. Boy, your feet's too big. Kinda smell too. Don't want you cause your feet's too big. Can't use you cause your feet's too big. Honey, I wanna abuse you cause your feet's too big. Go ahead and stop around, Sasquatch. Scientifically, your pedal extremities are simply colossal, honey. When you step in the mud, it look like a fossil, Petasaurus rex, right down there. I remember one time you tried to sneak up in the door, but those big gunboats came in 15 minutes before. Yes, feet's too big, honey. Don't want you, cause your feet's too big. Can't stand you, cause your feet's too big. Wanna backhand you, cause your feet's too big. Now look here, baby. You know it's sad and just a little bit funny, but every time I'm with you, you are asking me for money. Now look here, if you want baubles and trinkets and roaches, you should go on downtown, honey, and get a job stepping on roaches. Put your feet to work, honey. Don't want you cause your feet's too big. Can't stand you cause your feet's too big. I really hate you cause your feet's Ain't nobody gonna sob, nobody, honey. Oh, but that undertaker's gonna have one heck of a job. You gonna look mighty funny, laying up in that casket with those big bananas just sticking up out the basket. Yeah, he's too big. Don't watch you 'cause your feet's too big. Can't use you 'cause your feet's too big. I really hate you 'cause your feet's too big. That's right, I said your feet's too big. Don't watch you 'cause your feet's too big. Can't stand you 'cause your feet's too big. I really hate you 'cause your feet's too big. Honey, I tell you, your pedal extremities is just obnoxious. But I love you. Bye-bye now.
I really appreciate how animated you are in this performance. It really seems to embody Fats. And I know so much of his music was light and upbeat, but he also wrote ballads. Alvin, could you introduce one of his ballads to us?
Yes. This next one is one of my favorites. One of the first Fats Waller tunes I ever learned. And it's a little tune called Two Sleepy People. And it really is quite sweet.
Here we are, out of cigarettes, holding hands and yawning. See how late it gets. Two sleepy people by dawn's early light, and too much in love to say goodnight. Here we are, in this cozy chair, picking on the wishbone from the frigid air. Two sloppy and sleepy people with nothing more to say, but too much in love to break away. Do you remember the nights we used to linger in the hall? Your father didn't like it at all. Do you remember the reason that we married in the fall? To rent this little nest and get a little rest. Here we are, just about the same. Foggy little fella, dizzy little dame. Two sleepy people by dawn's early light, and too much in love to say goodnight. remember the nights we used to linger in the hall. Back then they called it lingering. Your father didn't like it at all, but I was crazy about it. Do you remember the reason that we married in the fall? I believe there were 2 barrels involved to rent this little nest and get a piece of rest. My darling, here we are, just about the same. Foggy little fella, sticky little dame. There was much lingering in the hall there. 2 sleepy people by dawn's early light, and too much in love to say goodnight.
What a beautiful song. That was
It really is a lovely song.
Yeah.
And actually, for the record, it was actually written by Hoagy Carmichael and Frank Lesser for a film called Thanks for the Memory, which was a follow-up to a Bob Hope movie, which name escapes me, but it was written specifically for that. But it was immediately championed by Fats Waller, who made the biggest hit out of it.
Oh, that's good to know. And if you're just joining us at home, I want to remind everyone that we want your questions. So if you have a Gmail account, you can use that to sign into our YouTube page and ask your question in the public comments section so we can hear from you. I know that Fats Waller was a very powerful songwriter, and yet some of his songs remain more obscure. There was a song our producers today actually couldn't find the title for. What can you tell us about Waller's original E-flat blues?
Well, I don't really know that there's much to be told about it. Obviously, he didn't spend a whole lot of time trying to think of a clever title, because that's all it's ever been known as is the original E-flat blues. In its original form, and the only recording that I know of it, he sings about 1 verse and plays a little more. But it's interesting because the blues was a form of music or a style that, you don't often hear from Fats Waller. And this is just a very basic tune set in that style, which was very popular at the turn of the century in New York. Obviously, it's a Southern style that was kind of imported from the South areas of the country, Southern areas of the country. Now, I will tell you that there was 1 verse that Waller wrote, and the others come from an anonymous source.
I wonder who that is.
Yes, well, we'll see how you feel about it, and then I might tell you. But let's just roll tape and go from there.
Sounds good.
But my baby, she don't love me. This is the blues, y'all. Said I love my baby, but my baby, she don't love me. She done give me that squirrel juice, y'all. Squirrel juice, yeah. Got me running up a tree. That's what it do. That's what it do. Well, I called my baby, and and another man answered her phone. Now you know that ain't right. That ain't right. No. Said I called my baby, and another man answered her phone. I asked to talk to her. You know what he told me? He said they was in a prayer meeting, and his name was Pastor Bone. Now, to my baby's window just to see what I could see. Said I crept up to my baby's window just to see what I could see. Well, she wasn't in no prayer meeting, y'all, but she was sure enough down on her knees. Yeah. My love. You know that ain't right.
Well, that one left me blushing. I hope my grandparents aren't watching today. I know that Waller wrote more than 400 songs during his career. His most frequent collaborator was lyricist Andy Razif. And I'm just wondering if Rudy and Alvin, if you could talk a little bit about their collaboration and their relationship, and maybe play a song that they wrote together.
I think the next two songs are from the 1928 musical that they wrote together called Connie's Hot Chocolates, which opened up in Harlem and moved down to Broadway and made them known to a wider audience. Louis Armstrong was in the band, and he really kind of popularized, and he became a household name after he would leave the pit to perform on stage Ain't Misbehavin', which we'll be hearing in a little bit. What do you have to add to that, Alvin?
That's about the whole ball of wax. Another young fellow that was in the show was a guy named Cab Calloway. And I know this was a hot little show. And the two last pieces that we're going to do, Black and Blue, an interesting piece. It's a bit darker than you would expect normally from Fats Waller. And though he recorded tons of stuff, things he wrote and other people, this was one of the pieces that I've never heard a recording of him actually singing it. Though it did become later a big hit for Louis Armstrong, who became accustomed to, became familiar with it from the show. Though he didn't sing it in the show. I believe it was somebody else. Somebody else sang it in the show. He didn't sing this one, but he went on to make a big one, as well as Ethel Waters also had a big hit with it. But it really speaks to certain concerns of African Americans at the time. It's a very poignant song, so I think we should go to that one first. Black and Blue.
Cold empty bed, springs hot as lead, feel like old Ned, wish I was dead. What did I do to be so black and blue? Even the mouse done run from my house. They laugh at you and scorn you too. What did I do to be so black and blue? See, I'm white inside. Oh, but that don't help my case. 'Cause I can't hide what is in my face. See, I'm white inside. but you know that ain't never helped my case. No, no. 'Cause I can't hide what is in my face. How will it end? Ain't got a friend. My only sin is in my skin. What did I do to be so blind and blue?
Beautiful.
Hmm.
We have just one more song to share, but before we get to it, I wanted Alvin and Rudy to know that we're getting a lot of positive comments from our audience members. So I just wanted to say hi to Brenda and Judith and Selma, and thank you for participating and being here today and for your kind words. Brenda did have a question for maybe more for Rudy. I know we touched on this in the beginning, but will you tell us, Rudy, what made you decide to, again, just to recap, to have this tribute to Fats Waller?
Well, like I said earlier, just it was really Alvin. Alvin is the one that brought this this program to me originally, and I was so thrilled with the performance that he did for Friday Night Live that I thought it would be great to share it with a wider audience. And Thursdays at the museum is a perfect venue for it.
Mm-hmm. And it seems like you really saved the best song, or at least one of my personal favorites.
Most popular.
Most popular.
Definitely.
The very, very last. This song was inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame. This is Ain't Misbehavin'. Is there anything that you'd like to say about this song before we launch into it?
Oh, I think this one pretty much speaks for itself. I would like to acknowledge my cohorts in this project, the amazing bass player, Marion Hayden, and the phenomenal Jallo on the drums. Love these guys, and it was such a great pleasure to get to work with them again after what seems like an interminably long pandemic absence. So thank you for allowing us to get together to do this.
Well, we are so glad to be doing this, and we're trying to bring concerts to Thursdays at the Museum every other month. And we've been experimenting with these new formats, and I'm really glad to have both of you here today to have a discussion around the performance. So let's give, I just want to say thank you again for being here, and let's close out our show with Ain't Misbehavin'.
to talk with all by myself. No one to walk with, but I'm happy up on the shelf. Ain't misbehaving, saving my love for you and you, but especially for you, yes. I know for certain the one I love, I'm doing flirting. It's you that I'm thinking. What did you say your name was again? Oh, that, oh yes. Ain't misbehaving, I'm saving all my love for you. It's like this, like Jack Horner in the corner, don't go nowhere, but what do I care? Your kisses I was waiting for. Believe me, I don't stay out late, no place to go, no money neither. I'm home about 8, just me and my neighbor's radio, I can't afford one. Ain't misbehaving, saving my love for you. for you. Oh, yeah, yeah. And that's the truth.
Bravo! Excellent performance. This has been so much fun. I just want to say thank you again to Alvin and Rudy for joining us today. This was a great conversation. I'd also like to thank our producer, Gwen, and the rest of the team for making this happen. I hope that you can join us again next week, Thursday, April 1st at 1 o'clock for a studio visit with printmaker Jennifer Zakarian. And just as a reminder, the DIA is currently open. You can reserve your time to visit on our website, as well as check out any other special exhibitions that are happening right now. Again, I want to say thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week.